In this session, we will try to uncover VARG method and also inheritance. So a method which can receive any number of arguments, including 0, is called as VARG method. See an example. For example, class demo, I will create a method void m int 3 dots and a variable, and let me just print where our method. And in the main method, I'll call the demo object and try to call the object m, no arguments, and try to call with one argument, try to call with two arguments, try to call with three arguments, with four arguments, with 5 arguments. We compile. And it goes. Let me compile and execute. So I've called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So 6 times it got executed, and it can take 0 to any number of arguments. That's a VARG method. Let's uncover overloading. Then we will go for inheritance. Overloading, say for example in C language, if we have to find max of 2 integers, then we create a method or a function. And if we have to find max of a float, then you need to create another method or a function, even if the functionality is same. And if you have to do a max of long, then also you need to create a new method or a function, even if the functionality is same. But in Java, we don't need to do that. We can just create one method or a function, max of int. We can do max of float without having to create a new one. Then we can also do max of long without having to create another function. So having same method name with different parameters is called as overloading. So let me take one example, class demo void m, and I will do the empty arg, and I'll say no argument method. Then create another method. This time I'll take one integer argument. I can say this as one argument method. And then this time I'll take two arguments, int a comma int b, and I'll say two argument method. So create a demo object. I'll just call empty m, then one argument, then two arguments. Let me try to compile and run this. Compile. Yes. So we have called all the three methods using three objects. Copy the result here. Let me try to create a calculator app, for example, method add. And if I send nothing, just return 0. And it's not going to be void, it's going to be int. Maybe I'll return one string line statement. And for example, the next one, if I get one argument, then I return the argument itself. Then if I get two arguments, int a comma int b, then I'll return a plus b. And finally, if I get three arguments, I'll return a plus b plus c. So let me just put system of print line around this. Without arguments, then I'll get a 0. And then one argument. Then I'll get the same number itself. And two arguments. I'll get 10 plus 20, which is 30. And then let's say three arguments, which is 60. Let's try to save, compile, and what did I do? Okay, my method name is not m, it's going to be add. Save here, compile, execute. So I got the result as expected. Let's maybe look at another example. For example, I have a class student, and int id, comma, string name, comma, double %. Then I'll create a student constructor. This dot, first I will just use id as 0 default values, and then name as null, and % as 0.0. Now create another constructor. This time I will say int id, and then for id, then I'll create this dot id is equal to id, and leave the rest of them as is, and create another constructor with string name. So this time I'll make it this dot name and assign name to it. Then the last one, I'll create it. This time it will take all three, double %. And for here, I'll put this dot % and assign %. I'll get rid of this. So what I'll do, I'll create student S1 is equal to new student, and I do not send any arguments. And I also, here I'll create a show method, and I have retained the print statement, but again, that's fine. System out, println, and id plus tab space plus name plus tab space plus %. So now I'll create student and call show method. And then create student S2, and I'll give the serial number for the first student. And I have to show S2 here. And for the student S3, I will send the ID and the name. And I'll show S3. And for S4, I'll send ID, name, and also %, 67.67, and show S4. This is essentially constructor overloading. File, and first time I got all null, 0 default values. For second time I got ID, third time ID and name, fourth time I got all of them. Method overloading. And then we have constructor overloading. I'll stop here and continue inheritance. in the next session.